Ian O'Neill for Severe MMA, and today I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by UFC featherweight prospects Charles Jourdain. How are you doing today? You have a beautiful background. You're putting me to shame, Charles. Lots of liquor and books and beautiful pictures on show.
Yeah, I'm a anime and manga very enthusiast. So yeah, and I drink on occasions, not all the time, but red wine and rum is my go-to.
Not a bad combination. I'm sure that you've had a few tipples since your fight with Shane Burgos, which probably happened nearly 2 weeks ago now at this stage.
Yeah,
And we can get into that fight if you don't mind. I mean,
let's do it.
what are the feelings? What are the biggest takeaways from you from that fight? I'll give you my opinion if you don't mind first. A very close fight, which I would have to agree. And I'm not just saying it because you're on with me, but I would agree with Mike Bell and his scoring of the fight. I thought you did enough in round 1 and in round 3 to get the job done. You were very unlucky to be on the wrong end of the scorecards. Is it kind of bittersweet knowing that, you were competitive in that fight but it didn't go your way? From your reaction online, you're treating it still as a win, even though it was a loss officially.
So when you end up a fight, there's we both know. We both know. Just like the fight with Andre Fili, he came out with a cast on his arm and it was all busted. And me, I just had something under my eye. So I like to say I didn't lose. I just ran out of time until I finished this, man. No. But the best takeaway is I know I can perform against the top 15. I know in my heart that I beat Shane Burgos. I know the judges were more on this side, judges from New York, guy from New York. And then, at the end of the day, my job is to get better. And now I know I can trade with these guys. I know I transform one of the monsters of the featherweight into a backpack, someone who wants to hug it until the victory. And one thing that will sound funny is I remember in the third round, I heard on the side and I saw Aljamain Sterling. Yeah, I think he screamed something like, "Stall it, you're winning." I'm like, "Stall it, you're winning." And he yelled that to Shane. I'm like, what a fucking pussy, man. Like, you're in a fight and you're encouraging someone to stall like you stalled your way to the victory against Jan. I have absolutely no respect for people who say stuff like that. We're in the fight game. If you want to see two guys humping each other, there's plenty of website online. You don't need to go to watch UFC for that. So I think it was a very pitiful statement from Aljamain when he said that. And hats off to Shane. He managed to stall the fight the way he wanted. But I have nothing against Shane. He's a family man. He's a father. At the end of the day, he goes out with his end raise and he doubled his purse. And me, in terms of money, it's not the thing that I'm chasing right now because I don't have any kids. He does. He has a family to feed. So that's why I was not too bitter about the judges' say on the matter. I had a talk with Dana White. I had a talk with multiple higher ups in the UFC, and I know, they know, Shane knows. That's it. That's all that matters.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing that I was going to mention to you is Shane Burgos, who is a guy who is known to be in wild brawls and stand-up battles. The guy stood and banged with Josh Emmett for the entirety. You turned him into a grappler in that fight, basically, with all due respect to Shane, but you did. And I thought that was massively impressive because not many guys have been able to do that so far when they've faced off against Shane. One question I had for you about the fight, and something that I looked at was, looks can be deceiving, but there looked like he was a lot bigger than you in there. Not a lot bigger, but it looked like he had the size advantage in there. Did it feel like that when he was in there, or did it take some time for you to get to that adjustment of his size?
So I have a different perspective than many fighters about this. So basically, me, I cut around 15 to 20 pounds, not that much. I see these guys off camp at 180. I think it's very terrible for your health, and it just proved at the end of the third round, it was ready to go. It was me. Yeah, I was ready to brawl, and I was ready for 4 and 5. The thing is, when you have someone who has a great physicality, it's hard to get them off of you when they squeeze. But if they squeeze, they're losing a lot of energy. He tried to crank my head. When he had me in that crank, he tried to pop my jaw with it. And I heard him whisper in my ear, "Oh, it's over." I was like, yeah, you're gonna have to try to kill me, motherfucker, because I'm there. I'm not gonna quit. So he tried to crank me, and right after that, when I was in the clinch exchange, he threw an uppercut, and I was like, that's it. That's Shane Burgos' power. Because me, ever since I've been hit by Duo Choi, I've been more. I want to feel the guys. That's why I started fighting backpedal against Shane. I wanted to counter him. I didn't want to get into a big right hand because he seems to hit hard. In videos and in fights, you see he hit guy with stuff and the guys start flying around. He hit me with shots and I was like, fuck, this guy has nothing. I don't want to sound like a prick or anything, but he didn't hit as hard as I thought he would. And my analysis of it is Shane, by being so upper body dominant, means he has a proper core, good core, and proper shoulders and everything, so he can push your face with his fist. Me, because all of my weight is basically around my legs, I have good shoulders, but mostly my legs are my biggest pop. That's why I throw that left. That's why I have a lot of power from it, because when you throw something, you need kinetic energy. You need to push from the floor. So the bigger your leg, the bigger your muscle from the leg, the calves, the hamstring, the more you can pop those shots, like shot that hurts. And I think Burgos, the difference with him is he jumps when he punches. So it was more like punches that would push my face more than pop shots that make you see stars, you know? So I put a lot of emphasis on not getting hit too much in the first, so I was pulling back. As soon as I hit the first shot, I was like, okay. That's when I went with the sweep, start brawling with him against the cage, throwing knees, and that's when I really started to go. The first shots I get, and I'm like, okay, I can take his punches, and that's where I unleash.
That's it, yeah. And it was an amazingly exciting fight and one to look at. You know, one thing that really fascinates me, Charles, is your mentality and the mentality that you bring inside to the octagon. And I remember hearing you say it before, there was a real turning point in your career. You're a guy who has suffered losses in the past, but it was the one against Julian Erosa, the one where it was your first time you got finished inside the cage. That was the one that was a real turning point in your career. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, because a referee came in and saved my life. If it was a war, I was dead. That was over. So that feeling was so. Because every time I lost, I felt like I run out of time. I see these guys, like after the third round, they're like raising their hands and happy about it, and I'm like, fuck, I wanted to go on because I can still go until one of us fall. And I know these guys are happy it's over, and me, I'm mad that it's over. Every time even when I push kicked Andre Ewell, that's my first and only decision win, I was actually mad we didn't have more time to tango. But hey, so coming back to your question, I think how can I say it? Yeah, just winning by decision is not something I really enjoy. I would love. I already talked with TSN about it. I would love to have extra rounds like in K1, you know, like Buakao against Masato, and they just call extra round fight, and you see the two guys are like fucked, and you see the one who wants to go, and you see the one who doesn't want to go. So yeah, I'm the type of guy who wants to go until there's a finish. So yeah, the turning point was getting finished by Erosa. I never got finished by punch. Knock on wood, I'm very happy about it. But yeah, getting just cut by a single mistake and boom, it's over. I remember my heart. I was in the choke and I was seeing the light over the octagon, and just my heart just pop up, pop up, pop up, and I felt my eyes kind of close, and I just tapped, and I was like, holy shit, that just happened. Someone just saved my life. So yeah, I mean, I got killed. And then I realized it's something to be ready to kill, but you have to be prepared to die as well. And I know it's a weird mentality. I know it's a weird statement. People are like, oh, it's just a sport, blah, blah, blah. But if you treat fighting as a sport, you're not going to last. It's a do or die situation. It's a war. It's brutal. It's like a car accident type of feeling when you get out of that octagon. After the adrenaline comes down, you're exploded physically and mentally and everything. So people are like, oh, it's just a sport. Yeah, try it, it, my friend.
Big time. I couldn't agree more. That was excellent. like obviously dealing with a loss like that is very hard. How are the feelings for you in a loss like you'd had against Shane Burgos? And I mean, you were confident that you felt that you like lost the battle but won the war. Do you come in with a mentality where you need to switch things up ahead of your next fight, or like how is it when you lose a close decision? Does it hit hard for a couple of days, but then you look at the positives? Because I believe overall your mentality, if I could say it was, is a very positive one. Are you a person that looks to take the positive side of things rather than focusing on the negative?
Yeah, positive and negatives are important thing that we need to elaborate on. But me, it's mostly accepting things you cannot change. As soon as the fight was over, they called his name. I looked deep down into my heart, and I was like, "There's no way. There's no way." After first round, I think I won. Second round, I definitely lost because of the back control, but he threw 4 strikes, so it wasn't a big gap. And one thing that I despise is submission attempt. It's like, what? Every time I throw a punch, it's a knockout attempt. What's a submission attempt? You tried something and you failed. How can you get points for it? Like, it's like in hockey, they're gonna give you a half a points because you shot on the sides. No, that's fucking stupid. Anyway, and third round, I think I definitely won. I don't think people like 10-8, this and that. It's not about 10-8. It's about I finished the fight strong and I was ready to keep going. And we had a man who was surviving in there. I
Yeah.
mean, that's Shane. Even Shane said it. He said, "Man, you're a crazy kid. I was surviving. My body, everything was just dead from trying to hold, and from trying to submit you, from trying all those sorts of things. The body triangle, and I really like Shane. I think this will be right now it's my favorite UFC experience I've ever had. 22,000 people screaming. At first, most of them were booing me, and after that, people were cheering, screaming my name. People were like, "We came here for Burgos, but you won that shit!" Nah, 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 nah. So yeah, it was just a very fun experience. I turned 23,000 people into fans. Afterwards, I was screaming to them, "Come on!" Like during the fight when Shane was holding on me, and this picture is very cool because Burgos never hold on to someone like that. I transform him into a guy who wanted to survive, and he didn't do that. Like, he went to war with Edson, and he went to war until he fell. He didn't do that with me. Yeah,
Yeah.
he preferred to hold on to me. But yeah, I need to work on that. So biggest takeaway from the fight, I can fight the top 15 guys. That's very big, and the second biggest takeaway is uh, I need to work on my ability to like, I worked so hard on my wrestling. People are like, "Oh yeah, but it's still the wrestling." It's not the fucking wrestling. He ducked under when I threw my straight left and went for a body lock. So it was not necessarily a single leg. Like, he tried a single leg a couple of times. I sprawled. He tried a double. I sprawled. Went with the crossfade. I had my wizard. Like, every wrestling exchange were very good from my part. It was that fucking body lock. And I don't know if you remember, but he had the body lock, and I went next to the cage to be ready to turn. And with the body lock, he jumped and pushed with his feet on the cage. It's not a wrestler move. This is like a freestyle gangster
Yeah.
fighter move. So people are like, "Yeah, it's still your wrestling." I'm like, "Fuck you. I'm working very hard on my wrestling, and my wrestling wasn't the problem. It was me being overconfident in my straight left, and he ducked under and went with the seat belt, which was a very, very nice plan." And yeah, once again, biggest takeaway is when I throw that straight left, I need to be sure that I have another weapon that can hide that entry. I'm ready to sprawl. I'm that double. I'm ready for head inside, head outside. Any wrestling attempt, I can manage to defend. But this was very awkwardly entered underneath the straight left. So yeah, hats off to him. That I need to work on. Now I know. Now I know. I'm
Yeah,
a
well,
better fighter now.
there's going to be no one criticizing your wrestling right here anyway, Charles. That's for sure. And I mean, that's the kind of thing that you have to deal with as a fighter when you're in there with elite level competition. Just a slight slip up is something that another fighter can take advantage of, and then
Yes.
that's the result. So we won't dwell
Yes.
on that fight too much more. Let's take a look at the future.
Yeah.
Edson Barboza is a fighter that you threw out after the fight. Why
Yeah.
is that fight so intriguing to you? I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
It's just mano a mano. Like, it's something to get caught by submission. It's something to lose by decision. but I want to find a man who can like make me feel like I want to quit, because I never felt that in my life. I never felt like I'm like, okay, this man's a monster. I have no more energy. What the fuck is going on? Like, I want to face something that it's the second round, and I get my head up and I look at him and he's like telling me, come on, let's meet in the middle, and I don't want to go. I think that's something that will change me even more. I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball Z, and every time they fight they became so much stronger. And yeah, I'm in this place, but I really want to feel like, what the fuck am I doing here? I don't like this guy. He's terrorizing me. I never had that feeling, but hopefully I will face it one day.
Has there been any discussions about that fight with the UFC brass? I know you said you were talking to Dana and a couple of the higher ups as well. Has any names been tossed about for your next fight?
Unfortunately, I cannot disclose any information as it is right now, because there's no contract on the line yet. But yeah, there's no name. But yeah, I'm pushing a lot to be on the Paris card. But I got a big medical suspensions, even though I'm very fine physically. But they told me like 30 days, and I need medical license. There's a lot of stuff going around to get me on the Paris card. But yeah, definitely I want to be on that card. I want to be in Paris. I want to fight in front of the French people. So yeah, as soon as I got more information, you guys will get the news on my social media real fast.
Perfect. That would be an awesome card for you to be on, and you know, a monumental card in Paris as well. And it would be great to see you on there. Look, obviously there's a lot of hurdles in the way if that doesn't work out. You've mentioned a couple of times on this interview already about you wish you had longer. So in your terms, would you be pushing for maybe a 5-round fight sometime in the near future as well? Because, you know, that's probably something that would suit you quite well, because you're
Yeah,
fresh after 3 rounds and you want to go on longer.
yeah, but unfortunately, the thing is, it's your star power, it's your attraction power, and the more I fight like that, the more my stock will rise. Like my social media has been exploding a lot, but I need to win. Like to get a 5-round fight is not how much you ask; it's how much you perform. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, there's a hell next to my name and Shane. So yeah, I need maybe 1 or 2 more wins, and I can. Yeah, I would love to fight at Apex. That's the place I've fought the most with the UFC, and have a 5-round war with someone. That would be something that I would love. But hey, one day at a time. Let's see what they say for Paris. And after we burn the roof in Paris and the stock rise even more, I'm sure they would be interested in making me fight 5 rounds. I think why wouldn't they? I mean, they can put me against a top featherweight, and yeah, my stock is rising right now, and I'm very I see a very bright future for myself, because like I fought a 32-year-old Shane Burgos. That's means 6 years. Imagine the
Yeah.
fighter I would be in 6 years if I keep fighting the way I fight. I would have it like I'm in 3 years with the UFC. I fought 9 times. Next fight's gonna be my 10th. So following that tantrum in 3 years, let's say in 3 years I'm gonna be 30. I'm gonna have what 18, 19 fights in UFC if I follow this crazy path. So yeah, I'm gonna be if I reach 30-year-old and have almost 20 fights in the UFC, that would be like I would reach my prime. My physical prime is like 31, 33, they say. So I'm very far from my prime, and I just shown that I can stand and bang with proper guys and not get too much damage. I was very fine after that fight. There was a couple of vet clash in the clinch, but no big bumps on my face. My chin was good. My eyes was good. The only thing is I exploded my foot on his face at the end. I
Well,
didn't
yeah, I
I don't
remember that.
understand how he got up. He stayed up from that. I backed away from his right and I threw that high kick, boom, right on the chin, and he was like, like with his tongue and with his eyes rolling. I'm like, what the fuck are you made of, man?
It's
That
crazy.
was
I remember that kick. It was unbelievable. It must have been only about maybe 2 or 3 seconds left in the fight when you
yes,
landed that as well.
yes,
Crazy,
yeah, no,
crazy.
very impressive. This guy's a warrior.
Do you believe you're the guy to bring back UFC gold to Canada?
I'm not chasing a belt right now. I'm chasing to get better because my goal are always I always set myself short-term goals. I'm not a big long-term guy, like long-term investor, long-term everything, long-term this, long-term that. I think I'm more happy with day-by-day schedule. I'm not planning my what you gonna do when you end up fighting. I'll find a way. That's what I do. I live day by day, and I'll find a way tomorrow. So by having this mentality, which is more like a pirate mentality, is so I'm not seeing the belt right now. But now definitely it's getting closer in my mind because of the performance I just had against a very tough man. But I'm not pressed. I'm not pressed to get that belt. I don't want it before 30. I want to get better. I want to get stronger. The belt will come, but I'm not chasing it. If you chase money, it will run away. If you chase the belt, it would run away. I'm not a big chaser. The only thing I want is to get stronger. That's the only thing that matters to me.
100%. That's a very fair answer. I seen this weekend gone by, the last one, that you're at actually a local regional show as well. Is it the regional scene something that you really kind of take a close look at in Canada? And what's your overall assessment of where Canadian MMA is right now?
It's not good. It's a terrible. It's very terrible. There's one person who's making shows here in Quebec, but they're not high quality shows. Since Stefan, my manager, dropped TKO to pursue his career as a manager. So TKO is not there anymore, which was the platform that me, Marc-André Barrio, and Cyril Gann grew up from, and many other very good fighters that like Nate Manis. There's a girl also. I don't remember her name, but she was with Conor McGregor's coach. She fought there, she won the belt. So yeah, I don't recall her name, but yeah, she was very good. So yeah, there's a lot of very good fighters that came from Canada, but other than that, the scene is kind of dead. And also the lack of push behind especially Canadian MMA. And to be frank, there's not that many exciting Canadian fighters. That's the most unfortunate part. Like most of them are decisionator. Like they always win by decision, trying to hug you against the fence. Like one guy who's so fucking good and a very good martial artist is Aaron Jeffrey. I don't know if you heard the guy, but I think he did Dana White Contender Series twice, and he didn't manage to get a contract because of the lack of excitement he was bringing. Just yesterday, the Dana White Contender Series, there was a lot of fighters. None of them, like, you're in here to be in the biggest league, and you fight to not lose. That's so dumb. You need to fight to win. You need to destroy these guys. And also, one thing that happened to me as well, not to the extent that it's happening to these guys, but once they reached to the UFC, they made it. Once I reached the UFC, I'm like, okay, I'm a baby now in the world of sharks, in the world of lion. Me, it was always about the next one, but him is like, I'm in UFC. Oh, I made it. I'm like, you didn't make shit. You just arrived to the biggest part of your life and you think you made it to the top. And you see these guys flopping and not winning and getting cut. That's very unfortunate because there's a lot of very talented guys. There's the guy I fought, the guy who beat me. The only guy who beat me before the UFC was TJ Laramie. He held me down until the judges gave him the victory at the Bell Center for the belt. And yeah, he managed to hold me down. And he arrived to the UFC, lost twice, boom, kick, over. I really felt for him because he's a very, very good also individual, but a very good fighter. But I didn't watch his second fight. I watched the first one. He just got cut. I was like, that's unfortunate. And then he fought Sabatini, who's a very good featherweight, but mostly a guy who holds you until the judges give you a victory. But yeah, and that's it. That's over. It just very bad for the Canadian scene. There's not a lot of guys who are up and comers, unfortunately. But hey, Mia, I focus on my home. I focus on my belly button, and yeah, I will never say to anyone that I'm a representative of Canada or Quebec. I'm me. If you want to follow me because you get a tiny bit of inspiration to do more things, I will be grateful for it. But I'm not. Oh, I hope I get the Canadian flag there. I hope Canadians are watching me. Canadians should support me. Blah blah blah. I'm not pushing anybody. If you like me, there's plenty of social media spot where you can follow me, but I don't want that whole country thing. The country is doing people doing their own stuff. I respect you if you follow me, and I respect you if you don't, because you prefer other sport. I'm not gonna get at you because, oh, you're Canadian, you need to support me. I don't care.
You kind of let your fighting do the talking, really, and
Absolutely.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean. And I think that that has generated quite a big fan base for you, and I think it's only going to get bigger as well. Charles, a couple of big fights coming up this weekend: UFC 277 right around the corner. Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena in the main event for the women's bantamweight title. How do you see it going down? A huge upset in the first fight. Can Amanda Nunes get her title back?
Yeah, I think Amanda Nunes, hungry. If she's hungry, she's gonna win, and I think she is. Like, I think she's been sitting on top of the woman world for so long that she didn't have any hunger. She was getting hit, not replying. It was a very weird performance last time. And Juliana Pena is gonna come in very confident with her grappling. And no, I think if I had money, I'll put everything on Nunes, of course. And
Yeah.
with Kekara and Moreno. That's it. That's Kekara and Moreno, right?
Yeah, that's it. Cara France and Moreno for the flyweight interim title. It's a co-main event. Another great fight.
Absolutely, and it's time for like new blood in the 125 division. I think they've been holding the division for the last year and a half, which is okay, but unfortunate at the same time. So yeah, I think we need to see more, and I think France could very, like, this kid's been there for a long time, had ups and downs, and I think he found his style, he found his juice, and I would love to see him win that fight. They would bring excitement to the 125 division, which I thought to some point would be disappearing, but now we're getting incredible fights by these gentlemen. So yeah, I think new blood's coming. So I'm with France.
That's it. So your picks are, let me get this right: Amanda Nunes, Kai Kara France. That's where your money is going down this weekend at UFC 277.
With Kekaro, it's not about money, okay? It's about, I want him to win. With Nunes, it's money, all right? So
nice.
If you guys lose money because of Amanda, my pick against Amanda, I'll take the blame. If you lose money because of Kekara, I mean, yeah, that's on you, man.
Yeah, I don't want to be the one who's coming after you looking for money anyway, because I know what way that's going to go, man. One guy, and maybe you're probably sick to the teeth of getting asked this question, one guy who was very influential on Canadian MMA, and that was Georges St. Pierre. How influential was he on your career?
It was influential. The first time I watched something, I pressed UFC on YouTube, and it was a highlight of Rush with a song from Sans Pression. Sans Pression is a rapper from Quebec. And I watched the highlight, and I'm like, what's that? You can fight in a cage. And yeah, so that's where I told my father, and my father was like, yeah, that's Georges St. Pierre. I'm like, who's Georges St. Pierre? And he's like, oh, he's going to fight soon. Do you want to go and watch? So we went to La Cage au Sport, and that's where it all started. It was me and my younger brother and my father. Like, every month we would go and watch fights. So the first event that we saw was supposed to be BJ Penn against Nick Diaz against George. I think it was 137 or 139, 137, I think. And George blew out his ACL. So the BJ Penn fought Nick Diaz, and it was a very, very cool fight. And after that, yeah, we saw like the card where Brock Lesnar fought Overeem, and Nate Diaz was fighting Cerrone, flipping him up and everything. So that was very cool. So yeah, it just started like that. Every month we would go see UFC at La Cage, eat some Doritos and Tostitos, and drink 3 Coca-Cola, a big thing. And that was just an exit for fun. And then my father was like, hey, there's a little gym. You guys want to go? I'm like, yeah, sure. He subscribed us, and yeah, here we are. I could have been a lawyer, man. I could have been rich. I could have been a family man, everything. No, I'm a fighter. Thank you, Dad. No, I'm kidding.
Could have been a lawyer, but now you're a killer, and that's the way it goes sometimes, man.
Yeah.
I'm actually heading out to Quebec City and to Montreal in September. Where do I need to go to get the nicest poutine out there? Because I heard that you guys do the best poutine, and I need to get out there. I'm actually based in Saskatoon, in Saskatchewan myself. We're going to fly over there for a couple of days to visit both cities.
Nice.
Where do I need to go to eat some poutine? And do you obviously eat it yourself being over there as well?
Yeah, there's no specific restaurant because to be frank with you, poutine is only 3 ingredients. You know, it's gravy, fries, and cheese. So if you find a proper place that has the 3 ingredients, like all of it is quite good. Just don't go to McDonald's or any cheap place, and don't go to over expensive place as well. You cannot pay $25 for cheese, fries, and gravy like that. That would be stupid. Just local places, and it depends on your taste. It's like Italian style, they put like Italian sauce on it, or like General Tao style, like whatever you like. It's like a meal that you can add fantasy to it, and it's just very, very good. So yeah, I hope you enjoy your trip in Montreal. I'm sure you're gonna enjoy.
I will. When I find a place and I do try some, I'll tag you in, maybe on Instagram, and let you know where I am. But one final thing before you go, you're a Twitch guy. You like to get on there and stream online. What's your game of choice?
Unfortunately, I don't game anymore. When I'm on Twitch, I mostly talk about fighting stuff and do hot bat. No, I'm kidding.
R-rated Twitter, an R-rated Twitch stream you've got going on there. I was like, what the hell?
No, the game I would play the most is Smite. I think it's very fun. It's a game with gods, and it gives us a lot of knowledge. I think this is a very fun game. I like Fall Guys, but I rage too much. Fall Guys, like that little game where you fell and you rage. And Apex Legend, I used to play a lot. I got bored of it. And the other game that I used to play a lot is Fortnite. I actually like the no build.
Yes.
Fortnite is fun when you have no builds, so you don't have a 6-year-old building a castle and one shotting you and dancing on your body afterwards. You can manage your way to victory against these young kids who are awfully too good at this game.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I am aware of Fortnite. I was a kind of a Call of Duty Warzone kind of a guy myself, which is pretty similar as well. And sometimes you just feel like you're fighting a losing battle on there with some of these kids. It's crazy. Charles, I really appreciate the time you took to speak with me today. I hope that the Paris fight works out for you, or you get a fight somewhere soon down the line. Hopefully we'll get the chance to have a talk before that fight as well. If anyone is wanting to tune into your Twitch stream or find you on social media, how can they find you?
Social media are always the best, especially Instagram. This is where I post most of my thing. TikTok is for fun, but I have like 300K followers, which is insane on it. Facebook is mainly for Quebec because it's more French oriented. So yeah, just follow my Instagram, and sometime I drop low. I'm gonna make a live on Twitch, and if you're interested in it, follow me, and if you're not, don't follow me.
Exactly.
Thank you for your time, my friend, and I hope you enjoy Montreal as much as we do.
Thank you so much. I look forward to that trip. I look forward to speaking to you again, Charles, and all the best to you, my man.
Thank you, my friend.